I'm even interested in, which is this one, the Ekle, because it even goes to this idea as kind of control of, you know, the computers, especially these kind of complex problems, aren't really so much programmed anymore as learned, right? And you trust that this kind of neural network will just kind of adapt. And people who work with neural networks, they can't understand them themselves, right? They can look at a kind of graph of the network and see what connections are formed. But in the same way that we have a hard time kind of understanding the brain, we have a hard time understanding these neural networks. So it becomes kind of a kind of trust issue, right? I mean, you trust this thing will perform the way it's performed before. But you can't know for sure exactly what's going to come out the other side. Because again, you know, the same way that all of these kind of complex interactions within that network can produce reliable output. There's also some small chance for some, you know, some unreliable event to come out the other side. So that whole notion of kind of program matter, which suggests that we just have control over things and we're just going to tell it what to do, gets lost a bit. And I think in any kind of complex process, there's kind of been a willingness to kind of give up that command and control narrative to get to something that actually has more agency and more flexibility and can, in some ways, think for itself. So that's what this one is talking about, right? It's talking about that a designer would just have to work with this thing, and that over time it would begin to kind of recognize and produce reliable features, and that they would have to kind of co-evolve with each other. And I think that's just the nature of probably all computing tasks in the future. And in that case, I think, you know, that relationship between the person to the computer, the person to the robot, is going to become a kind of gray area. And so this possibility, for instance, that there can be maps or designs is completely possible. And I don't think anyone will be able to tell us a definitive answer about whether or not that's prohibited or not, in the same way that they can't tell us exactly what's going to happen with global warming, right? In the same way they can't tell exactly what's going on in the brain, even if they can sort of specify a kind of tendency or likelihood. So I think we'll, you know, at the moment that we arrive at that kind of technological moment, they'll be telling you something like it's 99.9% not likely to completely rewrite your insides, right? But there will be some kind of likelihood that it will. And so the Voronoi, it's such an information.